Next up, we're going to be checking out a SCP The Corpse live-action film by Crawford Films. I've seen a few other people who have done live-action films, and they're fascinating, but moderately terrifying. Except they've all been really high production with incredibly talented people. And I've been told, just very briefly, that this is in line with a few of those, and very well done. I've never seen anything from Crawford Films before, or if I do, maybe they changed the name, I just missed it, which is entirely possible. I don't know The Corpse. I know a bunch of SCP, mostly from the Exploring series when they cover things from the SCP universe. I don't know this one. So I'm going into this only knowing what a general SCP is and how much that fits in here. We'll find out. I have no idea if I'm going to recommend this yet. And there's always a good chance that I might just be a stuttering massive nerves by the end of it going, he puts the lotion on the skin or we'll get the hose again. For all I know, that might be the case. I don't know. We'll find out. Would like to not find that part out specifically, but we'll see what happens. Let's jump into it and see just how much I'm going to regret this decision. Oh boy. Potential biohazards present.
Crossing SCP.
What? What? Is this the doctor, the one who tries to make people healthy? Oh!
SCP-049, enter your room.
Is he going to say you're not healthy?
049, I'm not going to tell you again. Enter your room or you'll be forced in.
He's hostile.
Oh, dude. Now, if I'm remembering, I think I might know who that one is, but I don't know a lot about him because it's been a long time since I read his stuff. Dude. I'm not going to say what I remember just because I'm not sure if any of it's accurate still.
What's happening?
Can you state your name?
I'm Aaron Scott. Hey, wait.
Keep your hands under the table. Been
Under
some
the table?
confusion around a Dr. Scott. Says here that he lost his ID badge.
No, I never got a badge.
You were never taken to have an ID badge made when you begin your work here?
I was, but I never received it.
You were found unconscious in an area you're not authorized to be. What do you remember about this morning?
That is so fucked up. Also, I love how they have physical props for the doctor's face prior because I just honestly prefer that style because when it's done really well with only a little bit of touch-ups for CGI, it just looks so much better. So this budgeting right here to make the physical mask, that looked good. But just losing... Is this actually the same person?
I can't remember.
Okay, this is going to be completely out of left field, but I'm wondering if we're looking at the doctor without the mask right now.
What do you remember?
I mean, I know we're intentionally being given the, oh, there's a guy with a baby face who is not sure what's going on. He's freaked out. And then there's the guy in the suit, in the dark suit, in the dark room, and he's being very aggressive. So we're being given the antagonist treatment here, but this is SCP. They are a bunch of fuck-ups, but they're usually generally on the rightish side. Ish is important.
I remember last night. I was with Dr. Williams. I appreciate all that you've done to help me adjust to this new job.
Tonight isn't just for you.
That is a voice. That is... I was not expecting that, but okay. It does have the old German doctor vibe, but I don't... Oh, God.
The foundation is important work, but a demanding profession. Good company helps.
I don't drink.
You should.
Company can do everything on its own. So finally assigned and already traumatized.
Honestly, this voice, it is... I don't mind this style of voice, but it almost feels like he's not nearly intimidating enough to fit it. It's kind of like when you have someone named Tiny, you need them to be the biggest, most horrific bruiser out there. I think this guy just needs to be played up way more villainous to make that voice work.
That was fast. Especially from an object with a class designation safe.
Wait, what? I missed a bit because the voice distracted me.
So finally assigned and already traumatized. So finally assigned and already traumatized.
Okay, it's not just the accent. I have no idea what he just said.
Can do everything on its own.
Okay. This is like the Dr. Mentor he's working
So
with.
finally assigned and already traumatized.
Already traumatized. Okay.
That was fast. Especially from an object with a class designation safe.
So I'm assuming seeing the doctor fucked with his head.
Let me guess. SCP-7122?
How did you know?
Gets everyone.
I've worked at the Foundation for a long time.
I was told I couldn't discuss this with anyone outside my team.
The burden of this job is holding on to information that the world isn't ready for.
Normally when you hear this in any fiction, this is something I love right here. It's the world isn't ready, but really they are, and they're just holding it for their own good. A lot of the SCP Foundation is showing either the world isn't ready for this, or we fucked up. The world was not ready for it, and it's worse. It's probably one of the few times in fiction where, yeah, they're usually right. The world really isn't ready for it, and it's probably for a good reason. And the bad
You
reasons.
can't do this without a confidant. Mine was my wife
Was.
before she passed.
What did you do
I'm
to
sorry.
her?
Tonight isn't just for you.
7122 is frighteningly unremarkable considering how dangerous it is. The SCP Foundation discovered it while investigating a rise in strange deaths in Stockholm. It looks like a camera and it functions like one for the most part. But if you photograph a subject and delete the photo, they die. Instantly.
I've read the file. All of this was uncovered before you started.
That's true.
Did they do that again?
So, what's bothering you? What breakthrough has the department made?
We began looking into the metadata of the pictures.
What?
We found that if you deleted the metadata without deleting the photo, the subject remained alive, but went into an unrecoverable catatonic state. In the next test, we took pictures of 2 different subjects. We had each memorize a unique poem. And then we swapped the metadata.
Please recite your poem.
I look into my glass and view my wasting skin and say, "What God, it came to pass."
Finish the poem.
He started screaming. He began to beat his head against the wall. By the time we got in there, he was already dead.
And as far as SCP goes, that's probably one of the safer, happier endings. Just from the outside looking in, on just 4-5 minutes in, the framing of all of this, it's kind of perfect. It's that odd angle shot from lower, so it makes everyone seem a little distorted. Normally you shoot from down because it makes people seem a little more streamlined, because it looks a little more sleek. When you shoot for below, you get more of the neck details, like what you can see right here. You get a little less of the bloat that is off-putting, because that's not really how you look at people. It looks odd. Because the only time you look up is when you're a child, and then when you get to the height, and usually when you can do things like engaging with the SCP, one, never let a child see this, you don't have that. So it's distorting perceptions. You're seeing everyone at a weird angle. There's a lot of distortion. You're seeing a lot of the up-close shots that are very intimate. But the lights, here it's more orangish, but it's also heavily shadowed. But where in the SCP Foundation, it's very stark and very white and almost blue tinted in it, how it's sterilized. And there's the background noise. Everything they're doing is giving the perfect atmosphere just on this alone. If they took out the music, which is actually a nice little catchy tune, it would be just as creepy because of the angle, because of the drama, because of the audio, the distortion when they're talking through the microphones, make it sound impersonal. It's a really damn good bit of filmography.
What about the other subject?
She had a heart attack. She also expired during the test.
My heart had shrunk as thin. The end of the poem. But whose poem was it?
It was hers.
Well, I called it a success.
He caved his own head in.
They are death row inmates. Are you feeling pity for murderers?
Yeah, I'm sure they're fine. They're all death row inmates. They're all horrible people. It's not like there's a proven track record of people making mistakes and being assigned to there, or how there's explicitly a lot of stories talking about how, hey, remember that doctor who we didn't agree with, who may or may not have been right? Kind of put him in there. I'm sure they would never do that. They've never had a bunch of people they just want to dispose of made D classes. That's never happened.
My team lost an innocent woman the other day. I guess that's the risk of working with Euclid class objects. Containment is more challenging than safe class.
And we're also showing here the divide between the people who are afraid of humanity and the people who have already lost it. Because like, oh yeah, we lost an innocent woman. You lost a person who deserves it. I see why they're going with that voice. Maybe the initial off-putting nature of it doesn't fit. But as he becomes this right here, more menacing, this is where his voice matches a lot more. Because I was saying, oh, he needs to really get in here and just do some really fucked up shit. And it's just, the more menacing he gets, the more heartless he gets, the more that voice fits perfectly. Also, I can understand what he's saying right now that I have the stuff up here, so it makes sense. He's cold, not cruel. Yeah, but Momo, that's exactly the thing. Cold and accurate is more menacing than cruel, because cruel is a child with lights burning ants. It's stupid. It's dumb. Because most cruelty is stupid and dumb. Cold will do way worse because it's not actually affecting them, and that is way more terrifying. This is a very much personal take for me, but it is very much a thing I definitely subscribe to.
More dangerous.
What happened?
SCP-049.
Euclid.
Good evening, Doctor.
Evening, 049. I wanted to ask you about this mission you've referenced.
To rid the world of the great die-in.
You've also called it the pestilence.
It gets everyone. Eventually.
He stays contained willingly, provided we allow him to continue his work. His tests are an effort to perfect some cure. However, we've yet to identify exactly what this pestilence is. But
I've heard multiple stories taking an idea of what the pestilence is. And that's because with the SCP Foundation, it's open source. It's why some games like Limbus Company can explicitly take inspiration from this, and Project Moon in general. But it's more Lobotomy Corporation than Limbus Company. But still, I've seen interpretations of this where he's actually right and he's actually wrong. And both are pretty fucked up, honestly. So I'm not sure which side they're going on here, but I don't think it'll matter.
If he thinks you have it, God help you.
We need to discuss some things, 049.
Are you feeling well, Doc? Doctor.
I was assigned to take over shortly after we lost Dr. Moore.
Oh, so she was the one in charge of it. Personally, I think the mask actually might be a 3D print that they smoothed out. Either way, though, it's awesome. Either that or it could also be plaster or paper mache.
049. I'm not going to tell you again. Enter your room or you will be forced in.
He's hostile.
And that guy realized he's probably the next target.
Do you know what SCP stands for?
Secure, contain, protect.
And what are we protecting?
The anomalous artifacts and entities.
No. Oh, he has it backwards. So this guy's cold, but also he's very, very aware that anything other than cold is probably a mental breakdown right now. Versus the rank newbie, who somehow doesn't have an ID card. I very much think that right now what we're looking at is the new guy is the bigger threat overall. Just by the end of this, we'll probably see that.
We are protecting the innocent.
Wait. Wasn't there another faction that was always about protecting the SCP more than the people? Would they get into that? I don't know.
You can mourn Dr. Moore, but don't mourn the personnel. If I had to sacrifice 100 murderers to save an innocent life, I would make that trade every day.
But they think everyone else. They're also the people being assigned that horrible shit, so... Momo has bread. The entire thing about the SCP is being cold, not cruel. Correct me if you're wrong. You're not wrong, but you're also not right. Again, it's an open source format. Every individual person making it has their own take. So this one, I don't know which way they're going. It seems like they're going more on the cold but trying to help side. But you don't know until you find out what the twist is. There's usually a twist, unless it's very straightforward. Or sometimes it's an anti-twist, where it's something horrific and unspeakable and mind-breaking. You turn out, no. The actual containment is making people believe that because as long as they believe it, it's actually harmless. But they have to make it seem scary, which is one of the takes they've taken on some of the really horrific things, including telling people it involved eating babies. Turns out it wasn't. It was actually not. But then there's other people taking that same SCP. I can't remember the number because I'm terrible with numbers. And it said, no, it's exactly as horrible as you think. It does depend on the writer, and everyone has their own take, which is why there's multiple canons within it, where someone writes multiple stories and they follow storylines and progression. So it's more of a multiverse in its own right. Also, the fact that it's literally multiversal and everything. So yeah.
Can you tell me about the accident last year?
What?
Drunk driving, one dead, 3 injured.
No. I wasn't drinking.
There were empty bottles in the car.
I wasn't designated. How is this even relevant?
Because, Dr. Scott, I'm beginning to wonder how you got this job. You're young, barely qualified, somehow walking around without an ID badge, and now this?
I'm not saying another word until somebody here tells me what is going on.
Which means he might be an SCP that infiltrated, or not who he thinks he is. Oh, and people are talking about 110 Montauk? That might be it. Honestly, I'm terrible with numbers. I can never remember shit like that. It might very well be that. And there's multiple takes. One are as horrible as you think. The other one was, it was absolutely nice, and the outcome was you have to read a little girl a bedtime story. That's absolutely harmless. But you have to make sure everyone else thinks it's horrible. Yeah, there's been multiple takes on it. A living failure hired as a doctor.
Let me guess. SCP-7122?
How did you know?
What breakthrough hits the department?
In the next test, we took pictures of 2 different subjects.
You were never taken to get an ID badge made when you begin your work here?
I was, but I never received it.
He switched. The old doctor switched bodies. Did he do it intentionally or accidentally?
Dr. Scott.
But if he thinks you have it, God help you. I know what he wants.
They switched actors. And they blurred it out, kept him in the same clothing.
Dr.
That. Because he was afraid the doctor would find him because he was looking directly at him. So he's like, God help him. So he switched bodies. So he saw the body he was wearing and not the person he is now. Oh, that is such a cool effect. And because everything's just close enough. And apparently, according to games, the ring is an SCP. Oh, I don't even know that one.
Scott.
Site 19. Wait, what was on his card? I should probably read that. SCP, Scott Williams, Site 19, 4. I'm assuming 4 is the highest access. Oh, you can actually see where they've made this version so they can have different cards for the same one. That's actually a cool little thing. They have the cutout right there.
Dude. But if he thinks you have it, God help you. I know what he wants.
Wait!
You stay here.
The doctor got out. Oh, I had caption on. It's not reading it. 5 is the highest access, so he's 4. So he's almost at the top. Yeah. What? Murderer, Sandra Williams. Our dear Sandra was taken from us unexpectedly. Automobile accident. She was in the chemist. And Victor Williams, her favorite hobbies. Obituaries. Oh, so the doctor was going after him. I'm assuming this is something he got to him somehow. Drunk driving. The dead wife. So it's the body of Scott, but it's actually Victor Williams, the soft-spoken guy. So we're seeing who he is, not who he looks like. The doctor's coming in. He's getting revenge, it seems. Even changing bodies didn't help.
I saw you in the hole the other day. You looked dreadful. Why don't I take a look at you?
Or I had it backwards, didn't I? The young guy was in the old man's body. And it wasn't that... They threw me off because I thought we were seeing what actually was there before we were seeing who he thought he was. So we were... The young doctor in the old doctor's body who switched because he would sacrifice one innocent person. So they have a guy who has absolutely no reason to be there, who's already breaking, who's talking to an older, colder doctor who's wanting to continue their work. Yeah, so I had it backwards. That makes a lot more sense as soon as you see the ending. Apparently the ring is soul contained in there, according to people in the chat. I'm honestly not sure what that part would be, but okay. That's the first part of it. Now we're going to see the follow-up, the corpse. Burned against the wall. I thought that was hair at first. Because this is the old doctor in the young doctor's body. Is that what happened to the old body of his?
Dr. Scott, I have heard much about you.
I can't imagine how busy the site director is. It's a pleasure.
Please call me Dr. Roth.
That's the site director? Honestly, I always got the impression that they're all way more stiff, and having an open collar kind of surprises me.
I apologize for suspending tests at Safe Class. I hope it wasn't an inconvenience.
The one he didn't want to be on the photo after he used it to switch bodies.
Not at all. Called you in here today because I've heard you've been quite the team player.
Go away. Please, at least review our notes.
I need in here.
Only the site director has access. Safe Class is getting shuffled around.
Where am I being reassigned?
So we're being shown two distinct things that we already know are not true. The one I only know from watching the previous one, which is about Dr. Scott. We know it's not Dr. Scott, it's Victor, whose first body died, and how he's a team player, and it didn't actually bother him, which were the two other lies, showing it bothered him, and no, he's not a team player because he's going in himself. Okay. And Pilot, you mentioned it was about continuing his work. It was about killing the man who killed his wife. Also, I am pretty sure the ring is not what chat said. Yeah, so he got the person hired who killed his wife. Okay, so it was revenge. Interesting. Maybe I missed that. What?
You've got to be kidding.
This isn't a real SCP, is it? Flamingos that actually squawk? It's either that or this is actually done because the people making this decided to have a moment of levity. And this is not actually part of the script. It's them fucking around with the actors.
Well,
The real SCP?
you want a break from studying sentient lawn flamingos? Come help my team.
Doesn't the site director realize his meddling only impedes progress?
Well, he may not be around for long.
What?
What?
Look, don't repeat this, but he's retiring.
You can retire? Living lawnmowers. Everyone's freaking out about the flamingos, and all I gotta say is, talking about someone retiring at the SCP Foundation feels like saying it's 5 more days until retirement. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Everything's great. Not only does it sound like you're breaking convention there, but it sounds like the kind of thing that you don't actually do when you reach site director levels. I always assumed you died on the job, or you did what this guy does and switch bodies.
And the rumor is that whoever cracks this problem my team has been working on gets his recommendation.
What recommendation?
Flamingos?
To replace him.
No.
Can we get medical to 1507?
I'll do it. I'm just happy to help.
What were you doing at Safe Class?
Testing. SCP-3348.
You know, I used to be much better at this. I don't recall 3348.
Neither do I.
A site director would say the words, "I don't remember." Now that might sound like, oh yeah, he's retiring. We know this is going to happen. All I'm thinking right now is That sounds like the most leading trap I've ever heard, because you don't read Site Director if you're not an absolute crazy-ass motherfucker who will burn the world down. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that, and I've just only had the interaction with Site Directors in various forms that are that level of insane, but... The compiled vocabulary of the Ganjanothian language by Mandrid Motzer.
Detected SCP-3348 lying in the grass outside the Foundation one day.
Outside the Foundation?
Little is known of the author, but he did include a note identifying the object as a fraction of the ancient language of the Kaijanithionians.
That's
the only evidence of their existence. It reads like a handwritten dictionary. But if you speak the words near an object or a person with the characteristics of that definition, the object loses those traits. Obviously, the implications of anyone wielding the Kaijanithionian language for personal gain are devastating.
Why does he say he doesn't remember that, and then he talks about everything he remembers? What the hell is going on right now?
Who can you trust with that power?
Oh, that's Tyrion heading off. Thanks for dropping in,
so
man.
we're dosed with amnestics every time we exit testing. No exceptions.
Oh, actually just mentioning amnestics. Oh, that's kind of cool. Always love the various stories about those alone.
Amnestics erase the recent memory. So, like you, I also don't remember 3348, but I have read our notes.
And have you completed testing on all the words?
All but one.
What?
There is a censored entry.
Do not remove.
We don't know why, we don't remember who censored it. But the consensus is that it's too dangerous.
Corpse.
And you've never considered peeking?
To forget. Because if you say the word you become almost godlike. Because if you can't forget, amnestics wouldn't work because you don't forget. But would that also bring back the initial personality because it wasn't forgotten when he switched them?
Never. That's in quote for the blackmail.
He can never forget. To fall?
That's in quote for the blackmail.
He's baking himself into a monster.
That would be against the rules. If anyone were caught doing that. Getting fired would be the least of your problems.
And that's why they wouldn't let him go back. Because he remembered where he had his glasses.
I admire that. I'll cut to the chase.
We know you're lying.
You've not been here long. You may even be the youngest doctor we have, but you've already developed something of a reputation. They call you the savant. I hear you're driven, ambitious, and that you have an instinctual understanding of many SCPs. Many come to you for help. I want to show you something.
Why does it feel like so much of a trap? But also it's the SCP Foundation. If he's able to do the work, they'll put up with actual horrible shit. As long as they don't trust him. Ooh. Oh, sorry, I love this effect. The overall blue tint, because normally when you have a theater going, it's more of a white light. So having something explicitly blue is off-putting from normal, making it much more eerie. Especially since they have an overall normal face tone on him. He's not supposed to be able to remember this, is he? I'm gonna get jump scared. I know I'm gonna get jump scared. Even I know I'm gonna get jump scared. Okay, just let the jump scare happen. Why is it cutting? Oh god, the sound. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. This is the kind of stuff that freaks me out. Even if I know the jump scare is coming. The corpse.
Are you familiar with SCP-106? Vaguely. Looks like a rotting corpse. Preys on the young, afraid of light. He can slip into a pocket dimension by entering any wall or floor, and then exit any place that's physically connected to that surface. We have to levitate his chamber with magnets just to keep it off the floor, to keep him contained.
And we started seeing him against the wall, not levitating.
A few years back, there was a breach. 106 got loose during a test. He pulled our videographer into that. He was a young guy. We never got him back. 26 hours later, we found his camera outside the test chamber.
Why are you showing me this?
You've proven to be quite helpful with difficult problems. Is there anything here that could be interpreted as a time displacement to you?
Time displacement?
I had a colleague at the time. She worked a desk job here, nothing dangerous. The day 106 got loose, she had brought her 11-year-old daughter to work. She was the youngest person in the building. I wasn't putting her in any more risk than she already was.
They have bring your kid to work day? Okay, was not expecting that.
We used the girl as bait. We recaptured 106.
Yeah.
But we lost the little girl. Her poor mother still works here, hoping her daughter will reappear one day. I'm retiring soon. But my mind always drifts back to that one event.
I have a hard time believing a site director would be this concerned about a single child, considering the shit they probably do is infinitely worse. This still feels like a trap somehow.
If there's any chance that time runs differently in there, if there's any chance she's still alive, I want to know.
I can't tell from the footage. Can I get access to 106?
Too dangerous. I can't risk another containment breach. Even if I wanted to do more testing, 106 requires a unanimous council vote.
The FIP? Really? The O5 Council? Or is it like a different council underneath that I'm just not aware of? Yeah. Because what he does is horrible so far, like dragging people into that space, but... Or pulling them in, what... Why would it require that? Unless there's something else they know that he is not aware of. Okay.
We'd never get it.
Dangerous and sadistic? Yeah. Corpse.
Thanks for coming by, Dr. Scott. You're doing great work.
Sir, there's something else I wanted to discuss with you.
Yeah?
You have your notes?
Yes.
Keep him on track. We've already agreed to his demands for a body, but that only gives us 3 minutes. Be quick.
What?
Transferring D personnel.
D personnel?
Guards clear, you are go to open transfer case.
Transfer? Oh, what's going on here? Comedy and tragedy masks.
Timer start.
Timer set, 3 minutes.
What's about to happen?
035, can you hear me?
Oh, I hate those sound effects.
I need you to tell me who helped facilitate your escape attempt.
It wasn't my attempt. I can't control what others choose to do.
Knowing more about the psych profile of those most vulnerable to your manipulation will help us going.
Manipulation? 2 accusations right out of the gate. What, did they make you the bad cop? If not, you really need to work on your rapport building.
Oh, that's so good. I'm not sure which part is better here. The fact that we're immediately getting this guy as a liar by talking about manipulation. The fact that the guy saying it is a clear manipulator who set up the man who got his wife killed drunk driving. Or that because we're immediately having the accusation level, there's always the chance that it's not actually them and something else happened.
Listen, I can tell you the facts.
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
I thought you only spoke Kaijin Ethiopian. Relax, they didn't hear that. Tell me, Dr. Scott, if someone breaks the rules, should I rat them out?
2 minutes.
I guess that depends. Is loyalty to the coordinator of a failed escape attempt worth all this? Or do you want powerful allies?
Worth all this? I have a body. Legs to stretch, even if it does decompose in 3 minutes. This is the best 3 minutes I've had this week. What are you offering?
3 minutes to decompose.
Bodies. They've slowed down testing and never get to feed anymore.
Rumor is the researcher who puts this issue to bed gets promoted. Give me what I want, and as site director, I will make sure you never sleep hungry again. The site director has power over all SCPs and operations in this facility.
30 seconds.
If he went out more, I'd get in his good graces.
15.
Dr. Ramirez, the psychologist examining my interviewers, may herself need to be examined. That's one secret revealed. Failed to give me what I want, and I drop the other.
Time.
Okay, 1, good art on that. 2, that looks just like the corpse that we saw earlier in the one that the girl was running to. Very similar art style, or like the animation style. It looks like physical makeup.
That's a shame. I like Ramirez. Appealing to O35's desire for a stronger alliance in that way, that was clever.
The site director is the person to know. Which reminds me, I know you've been considering who to recommend as a replacement. I'd like to put my name forward.
I appreciate the zeal, but I don't think you're ready.
But sir,
Look, you're doing great work, but you're still very inexperienced.
But you said it yourself. The other scientists respect me. I believe.
How much of this was already a trap, though? I feel there's definitely more going on, but I can't tell because anything with an SCP story usually has a twist in there. And if one person knows, then maybe more than one person knows. And a site director, something about this feels off still. I could be misreading it, but
Aaron, I was told whoever cracked the 035 escape attempt would be getting your recommendation.
Even if that were true, I'd recommend the team lead, not a random researcher. Aaron, you're still young. Go out, find a wife. Do not make this foundation your entire life.
Ooh. Because he made the foundation his entire life after he found a wife, and it still didn't work out.
This foundation already is my life. I deserve the position.
Well, frankly, you've yet to display the temperament necessary.
Yep. Which is a completely accurate thing.
I must become a site director.
The recommendation is mine to give.
He's going to say the words.
We'll see.
Marge, remind me to conduct an employee review on Dr. Aaron Scott. Mark it urgent.
I'm going to give you one more chance to promote me.
Damn. This guy's going to try the cathode language, which I never am going to be able to say correctly. But if this guy isn't at least aware, because some shit, man. I feel like this is just one giant employee review of him. Also, this guy making demands after he's already notified someone outside of there about it.
Are you making a threat, Dr. Scott?
Yes!
But first I'm going to tell you a story. Imagine I left this room very angry. 1, 2, 3, 4. I went straight to 106's chamber.
Hey, is there anything scheduled for 106 today?
And I disabled the suspensions. Doc Finride Docs Mafil.
SCP-106's chamber suspensions have failed. The chamber's made contact with the floor.
We go into full lockdown. You'd be trapped.
Now, floodlights on!
It wouldn't matter.
106 is missing.
106 would take me.
So he's, despite being literally the worst possible person, is willing to do anything. So he's giving the reason for why he should be promoted. Because if he survives this, he gives the site director what he wanted most. A solution. And he knows enough words of boogity boobity that he could probably do some fucked up shit himself.
If you're stupid enough to get caught by 106, you deserve your fate.
And if he comes out?
Got you.
Love the effect on the eyes.
$736, $735.
He'd never let you go.
I wouldn't leave it up to him. $290, $289, $288. Saito Heberad Felonio. I'd kill you. And as long as I hired no one younger than myself and was able to fend off his occasional abduction attempts, 106's pocket dimension would give me discreet, unrestricted access to the entire site. This is your last chance, Site Director Roth.
Yeah, if this guy doesn't pull out a gun and shoot him right now, I will be surprised. This is a really good thing, because I thought he was going to go to, I'm going to give you a solution and time dilation, but no, apparently it's more, I'm going to pretend I have understanding of this, where he's talking out of his ass because he's not certain. Because he's great, he's smart, but he's not that bright, and he's a terrible person.
Recommend me as your replacement, or die.
You're delusional.
Yes.
Even if you managed a single step in this process, I'd be swarmed by guards. I know your plan. You're not getting anywhere near 106. You are leaving this room in handcuffs.
To forget.
This place deserves a better site director. One that doesn't accidentally sacrifice little girls.
You scum!
The flamingos.
What happened?
You don't remember? Maybe you shouldn't leave your coffee mug so close to the walls then. Did I say I would do these things? Or that I already did?
A mystic.
Did you forget we're in a lockdown?
Let me out!
You see, I promised someone I'd be getting that promotion.
Let me out!
And I'm a man of my word.
Damn. Yeah, this guy is really fucked up. But the entire thing of it already happened, and he's just trying to get away with not killing the guy. That's a nice twist. Because at any point other than this, frankly, he should have pulled out a gun and shot him immediately, no matter what other amnestics are there. As soon as you say, I'm making threats, the answer should have been, okay, you're dead. But this guy's also... I love the dichotomy here, where we're meant to feel bad for the current site director, but the more asshole one we're dealing with, he's not wrong. The guy sacrificed a kid, and he feels bad about it, but he still did it. But on the other hand, this is the SCP Foundation. That's not even the top 100 horrible things they've done. For you. The burned
To my fellow scientist, years ago, poor leadership robbed you of your daughter. You've been a loyal employee. You deserve the truth. She's not coming back. Sometimes difficult choices must be made, but incompetence can never be excused. As site director, I can promise competence, vigilance. I promise to always put the best interests of the foundation first. This facility is my life. And I can promise you this. From now on, employees will always get what they deserve.
So we were looking at the body he already killed early on because he was forced to wear the mask. And then put into the pocket dimension. So we saw the outcome without knowing what the outcome was immediately. And they're blacking out and censoring it or freaking redacting it. That is brilliant storytelling. Because they gave you the answer immediately and then showed you every step to the answer. I thought the first one was an interesting little twist because they did something like that. But this is actually so much better. Besides going in one direction thinking like, why aren't they shooting this guy? But it doesn't matter. Because the entire time it wasn't about that. This is brilliant. Like absolutely and utterly brilliant how they have the story set up like that. That is... That is so well done. Normally, there's beginning, the end, median, res. This one started at the end, jumped to the middle of the climax, and then to the beginning. So we've actually gone backwards in time to catch up. Median res is normally you start in the middle, so the most action is happening right there, and you move forward, and you can reference the stuff that happened beforehand, which is interesting and important and shows a nice dichotomy to the action later, but you can do it when you need it. Then there's a storyline where it's more like The Hobbit, where you're not starting in median res. You're starting with the slow building progression. And things happen before, but they're not the main story. But then there's this, which is literally breaking the convention because they know exactly what parts of the information they can give you to understand what's happening here. And that is beautiful. This is so good because it's showing this guy's ambition. He wanted to be in charge. We already know from the previous one that he is very much motivated by revenge and making sure things work well. And hearing the site director wasn't the best option, seeing the incompetence, and he's just seeing what he's willing to do. But it's so fucked up, and he's a monster. But he's doing what he thinks is right. But also he's enjoying it because he gets power off it. And he's power tripping because he's getting away with it. I wouldn't be surprised if someone says there's a third one after this. And it's not just, here's me doing the admittedly maybe a good thing, but also I'm benefiting from it. But I'm doing something explicitly to benefit me. And it fucks everyone else up. Because that seems like to be the next part of it. It's not that he's the monster. It's that he's monstrous already. And he's getting comfortable abusing his authority. Because the first time it was to get revenge. The second time it was to get power. But they tell you the answer, they show you the outcome, they show you all the clues, and you find out what those clues mean as you go is beautiful. Because we're not showing a change in the character, we're revealing what the character actually was. And it was done perfectly. I was guessing how this would go up to the end, and all we had was the right answer, and I didn't know what it was until it was revealed. But when it was revealed, it made sense. I'm going to geek out over this for a while, and I really hope there's more. Yeah, and Bluthen. He's a monster, corrupt, and perfect to be site director. You see this one going to the O5s? Honestly, the only reason I wouldn't see that is just because, one, as soon as you're in O5, unless it's a very high-level story, you almost never get mentioned, because if an O5 is involved, it's usually a major plot line for multiple different storylines converging, or it's the founding SCP. And I just don't think they have the budget to do justice to that. And if he ever became an O5, it'd be like writing him out as good as putting him on a bus and anything else. I could be wrong, but I really doubt it. Now, if this is more fiction where they can get away with just words to show the storyline, oh, hell yeah. It's that level of dedication and willing to do anything, no matter what, that is the most valuable aspect to anyone in charge of the SCP. The fact that he's also marginally moral in his own way is a bonus, because it means, you know, he's not the absolute monster that some of them are. It's a bonus, because it also means, you know, kind of where he's going to go with it. It's just, so many good things. Basically what I'm saying is, if you haven't already, there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. This was amazing, and I love it. So check it out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.